even with the weather being kind of down?
I played golf in the gym today.
Really?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What else did you do in there? Anything other?
No, I had Miss Vinton's class and that wasn't that fun. But I'm excited to be here.
Well, awesome. So we're going to continue our day on mental health. We're on day 2, and as always, before the lesson or throughout the lesson, if you need to step out at any point, feel free to do so and collect yourself and come back in. So like I said, our focus is on communication and how to ask for help. So previously on day 1, we just did a simple introduction to mental health, so things such as the term mental health, and I remember, if you guys remember, we did textbook definition, you guys came up with definitions on your own to kind of find a common ground and understanding of mental health. We briefly touched upon illnesses and effects, and the effects of mental health, of course, not only mentally, internally, but physically as well. So today we're going to be covering these things called needs, wants, and feelings, and these are 3 ideas that I'm going to keep referring back to that kind of encompass this lesson, and how to express those needs, wants, and feelings. The importance of asking for help if you seem to find yourself struggling. I've included a couple video clips because I find it important to include real-life situations of people that kind of advocate for mental health and have been through it all and have seen the light at the end of the tunnel and kind of give suggestions as to what to do along the way if you find yourself struggling. So struggling to communicate. So like I said, these are the 3 things I'm going to keep referring back to. So needs, wants, and feelings. Needs are things that are required and essential. So these are daily things that kind of keep you motivated, keep you going, and such. Wants are things that you wish for, not really a requirement, and kind of spur of the moment. So one day you could want A, the next day you want B. Kind of differentiates between the days. It's not really seen as essential. It's just kind of what you're feeling in the moment. And feelings are emotions. So can you guys just shout out some emotions that you may have?
Angry.
Perfect.
Sad.
Awesome. So I have up here happy, sad, excited, and frustrated. And I made a little note at the bottom that these are all components that make up mental health. So one day you could be sad, next day one day you could be happy, next day you're sad. One moment you're excited, one moment you're frustrated. It's kind of like this roller coaster emotions that are just seem to be never ending if you find yourself struggling. So struggling to express these needs, wants, and feelings. So you worry about the viewpoint of others. So you don't want to feel judged or out of place for expressing your feelings. So including yourself in an environment that seems connected and safe is always a good call to make because you get to express what you're feeling internally and put those thoughts and emotions into actions and words. Next is wanting to fit in and be like everyone else. I feel like this is very important because within a friend group, whether it's just another person, 2, 3, 4, a whole big group, everyone may seem happy and content on the outside, but nobody really knows what's going on the inside. So you can still fit in, and it's all about, like I said, referring back to the first one, putting yourself in an inclusive environment to allow yourself to fit in and express those feelings. Next is, of course, the spreading of rumors. So if you're putting these thoughts and emotions into words and actions, you want to pick out a reliable and trusting source, whether that's a family member, friend, counselor, anything of that nature, to make sure that's just a one-on-one conversation or it stays within the group that you may be talking to. Next is peers may brush your situation off. So I have an example of here of them saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal, you will be okay. They're not taking your thoughts and feelings into consideration and giving positive feedback, or simply just being that listening ear to really just let yourself vent out those emotions. And peers make a bigger deal out of the situation than what it needs to be. So this kind of refers back to the first and second one. You want to find these, and the third one I suppose, you want to find these trusted individuals where you can relay this information to. They're not going to blow it out of proportion. So like I said, they're either going to listen or give you positive feedback as to what you can do. And finally, negative criticism others may choose to say. So you may hear things as it's for attention or it's not real, and you kind of just want to shed light that it is real, and this is real things that people deal with from the beginning of life to their end. So the importance of asking for help. Of course, it breaks stereotypes. There's a lot of stereotypes that go along with mental health, so you just kind of want to shed light on mental health and kind of advocate for it as a bigger deal than what others may seem to view it as. aid in the process of recovery. So like I said earlier, once you put those emotions and thoughts into words and actions, you kind of put yourself on the right track to finding that light at the end of the tunnel, as I covered earlier. Improving relationships. So it doesn't matter if you've been friends with somebody for days, months, years, or weeks. If you open yourself up and show them a new side of yourself to them, then it's going to improve the relationship because they're going to understand you as a full and complete person rather than viewing you how you are on the outside. And break the stigma that affects everyone who may be struggling. So this is a video clip of a TED Talk of a lady, I don't know if she's currently in college or not, but she talks about her struggle with depression and how communication with her mother while she was in school kind of helped her release those inner thoughts and emotions. Wait for EJ to sit like that. Take your time. Awesome. What else is open? Oh, you got plugged into the.
I just have the one HDMI cord plugged in.
I think it maybe just came out, because you were fine for your PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Try to unplug it and plug it back in.
Because you're always smiling. So for the rest of that day, I was like, I can't believe he said that. Then I was like, he's right. I remember this one time I'm talking to a friend and he said to me, I can't believe that you were depressed because you're always smiling. So for the rest of that day, I was like, I can't believe he said that. Then I was like, he's right. I was always smiling. My hair was always done. My outfits were always cute. That's just who I was. So when depression came in college, I wasn't able to identify what was going on. All I knew was that when I left my house, I would never show what was going on, and that hurt me more than I could imagine. So let me tell you a quick story. I come from a huge family, and I'm the youngest, and I was the first to go out of state for college. So I found myself calling my mom all the time because I was so used to being with her. So one day I'm on the phone with my mom when my sister at home with her jokingly says on the phone, "You're always on the phone with mom, get a life." I remember hanging up the phone and I was beyond devastated. I cried my eyes out. And this small joke, this ha-ha moment, broke my heart because it emphasized the pain that no one knew I felt. And that was the beginning of me learning that I had to ask for help. And so I want to share with you all today how asking for help can free you from depression. Now, I had struggled and suffered and really wasn't that good with vulnerability my entire life. And like I said, I came from a huge household. So I learned how to put on a front so I didn't seem like a punk, and that unhealthy habit of repressing my emotions and trying to be strong all the time transferred into my adulthood. And I was going through it during college, but junior year was like the worst year by far. I lost my financial aid, and I remember running all over campus trying to figure out a way I could stay in school. And if that wasn't enough, I worked the worst job at a Nordstrom Rack store in the shoe department. And I promise you guys, if one more person were to drop a shoe in front of me, it was gonna be a fight. So one day, in the name of self-care, I finished my shift, went on home, and blocked them on my phone, and never went back. But who can pay rent with no job? So there I was, jobless, schoolless, and hopeless. Not only did I have to move back home, I had to take a semester off and even transfer schools. And when I was first at home, I didn't have a job, so all I would hear was, when are you gonna get a job? When are you gonna get a job? And all I wanted to say was, when are you gonna leave me alone? And I hated running into people who barely knew me because the only question they had to ask was, how's school going? And all I wanted to say was, mind your business. Let's just say I wasn't the nicest girl back then. But one day, I decided to ask myself, what if I said something? Would I see a change? So after years of being this independent and strong person, the 4 words I have been lying about time after time finally poured out. I am not okay. And what a relief it is when the thing that scares you the most is the same thing that can save you. Now, I didn't just wake up with all the courage in the world to show someone my dark side, but I took the proper steps necessary for me. And I started with these small words that I like to call conversation starters. 3 words. I am sad. 3 words. I am depressed. 4 words. I am not okay. And I started with these small words not because I knew what would come afterwards, no pun intended, but because they allowed me to acknowledge my situation and to spark a conversation. Now, I won't tell you to go screaming from the rooftops that you're suffering from depression and anxiety, because you have to understand that not everybody cares. But once you lock in the right people, the ones who will listen to your heart and your pain, who won't dismiss your emotions and tell you to get over it, the ones who can bring you back down during an anxiety attack because you weren't sure how you did at that test at school or that project at work is really challenging you, and you're struggling to maintain a good relationship with your friends because you can barely keep your head on straight. The people who know you're suffering but won't treat you like a dying patient. Once you lock in the right people, the road can only get brighter. And in addition to these conversation starters, I want to share a list of small lifestyle changes that'll make a big difference. Number 1, I started waking up with a positive and healthy intention to live just that, a positive and healthy life. And if that meant waking up and listening to Return of the Mac for the 5th day in a row, I was determined to start my day with high energy. Number 2, I wrote myself 1,000,001 Post-it notes all over my bathroom and my bedroom, because sometimes you just need a reminder. They said, let's go, champ. You can do this. You're amazing. And number 3, and probably the favorite on my list, was throwing myself a personal dance party. And this wasn't a cute, oh, he's watching me. No, this was I'm getting my groove on, I'm dancing any type I need to dance to make myself feel good. And number 3, in addition to getting my groove on, I was going to the gym. And it felt like as I'm running or jogging and sweating and cramping, I was shaking loose all that toxic energy from that day, that week, or that month. And number 4, on those days where I felt like nothing was working, I leaned on my support system. I would call the people in my phone who I knew would inspire and uplift me, tell me that they love me and that I'm working hard and they're proud of me. Because sometimes you just need to hear something that you can't give yourself. And that's why it's so important to ask for help in order to free yourself from depression, because you can't do it alone. I allow people I trusted to see me.
Okay, so what were some general thoughts and some main ideas I presented in the video based on information that I also gave you beforehand, like some connections that you made? Amy?
She found out like what her needs were, like going to the gym, having that physical activity, having those affirmations